Couche, in collaboration for a learning alliance between the Sierra Leone Urban Research Center at Njala University and the Development Planning Unit at the University College London, we would like to present our strategy and findings. As 8 students from the United States, Thailand, Colombia, Peru, Luxembourg, Canada, and China, we have compiled our research into this video for empowering community-led transformation for Wata in Portee Rokupa, Freetown. Portee Rokupa is located in the eastern part of Freetown. It was first settled in the early 1940s as 2 separate communities. Since the 1950s, it has become one of the most vibrant fishing communities. The wharf area divides the community in 2 halves, Portee and Rokupa, but also unifies them by serving as a shared space for both communities. For that reason, the wharf settlement is usually considered one community known as Portee Rokupa. Overall, the geographic features consist of sandy soil and steep rocky slopes. The uphill area, located further inland, is considered a formal area, while the seafront part along the coast is low-lying, banked land and is referred to as the informal part of the settlement. Last year's group focused on the fishing value chain and highlighted water and waste management as an aspect for further research. During our first day in the field, it was apparent that water and sanitation were amongst the community's key concerns, not only for its occupational impact, but also as a challenge of living in the community. Based on this, we decided to pursue this topic further to better understand daily wash practices in Portee Rokupa. While in the field, we conducted 2 transect walks, 5 focus group discussions, and 16 interviews. The focus groups were critical in deepening our understanding of individual and collective wash practices. In one focus group, we conducted a participatory mapping session to understand the daily journey, seasonality, and risks of collecting water. We also conducted individual interviews to understand governance structures surrounding water. We interviewed representatives from 7 CBOs working on WASH-related issues, a WASH committee member, the community chief, and staff from the health clinic in Portee and the hospital in Rokupa. Additionally, we conducted informal interviews with well owners and general community members about WASH. Through our research, we have identified 3 dimensions of the risk accumulation cycle: economic, environmental, and social. All 3 dimensions can be seen to overlap in relation to water scarcity, contamination, and lack of sanitation facilities. The environmental risks associated with water sources are most prominent. Portee Rokupa has limited water provision, therefore there is a heavy reliance on local water sources. Challenges of collecting water vary depending on geographic location in the settlement and season. During the dry season, wells are the only water sources available in the community. Those who live inland must walk further to the coast to access the wells, while those who live in the coastal part of the community have easier access. During the rainy season, there is higher availability for all community members, including tanks, taps, and rainwater. Residents living in the informal part of the community will walk up to fetch water from the tanks and taps located in the formal part. This demonstrates the relationship between the 2 parts of the community and the spatial interdependence of water sources. Wells along the coast are shallow and situated on the banked land, which can lead to water contamination and salinization. For other water sources, such as taps, close proximity to drainage ways and seasonal flooding exacerbates risks of wastewater contamination. In order to reduce these associated risks, some well owners treat their water with chlorine, while others will filter rainwater. Economically, in the dry season, the price of water doubles as availability is low. Limited availability also means waiting time for water increases significantly. This can cause a loss of income, while community members may sacrifice possible earnings or education to collect water. Residents have the opportunity to pay extra to skip the line, also known as the fast track or overtaking. Income disparities are represented by some being able to afford the fast track while others cannot. Additionally, there are greater health risks associated with water contamination in the rainy season. According to community health workers, water-related illnesses such as cholera and dysentery are present year-round, but more prevalent in the rainy season. However, despite awareness of water-related health risks, many, especially those with less finances, still rely on wells as a key source of water. This places them at greater risk of becoming ill and creates further financial strain. Residents who are unable to afford the costs of formal health treatment will rely on informal drug peddlers for medicine. Health issues in the community are further exacerbated by poor sanitation from poor waste management, especially in the informal parts of Portee Rokupa, where residents mostly use hanging toilets. Social conditions also strongly contribute to the risk trap. Gender division is strongly evident in water collection practices. Women are the primary water collectors and often rely on their children for help. This demonstrates the importance of age in water collection, as it is mostly young girls who assist the women. This inhibits both women and girls from spending time on other activities such as school or job opportunities. On a larger scale, there is also poor water management from the Community Wash Committee, which is the committee authority in charge of overseeing water and sanitation issues. CBOs, or community-based organizations, have expressed willingness to tackle more WASH issues, but at present they do not have sufficient resources to do so and are not always recognized by the WASH Committee.
I've already said that we need funding because we have to do some community work.
Because of this, CBOs primarily engage in small-scale mitigation practices, for example, like cleaning drainage ways. Previously, CBOs have received some material support from NGOs, such as tools and equipment. However, this interaction is neither consistent nor reliable. The Transform Freetown initiative is a citywide plan to envision a more sustainable, resilient, and productive Freetown. The plan addresses clusters such as resilience, human development, healthy cities, and urban mobility. In this context, our strategy for Portee Rokupa primarily focuses on the healthy cities cluster of the plan by addressing water and sanitation issues. While our work is specific to Portee Rokupa, our strategy seeks to create a step forward in achieving the citywide vision in Transform Freetown and serve as an initiative that can be scaled across various communities to promote the plan. Our strategy involves 3 pillars designed to address the gaps and struggles we found within the community for addressing WASH issues. We begin our strategy with a strong social network. As we saw in the field, various stakeholders agree that water and sanitation-related issues is the biggest challenge faced by the community. While they all agree and have similar goals, there is little collaboration between the different groups. Therefore, the goal of this pillar is to create a platform where CBOs and other community members can come together to share their vision and work together to collectively address their water struggles. The WASH platform should consist of representatives from CBOs, the WASH committee members, and general community members. In this platform, they can discuss their concerns, spread awareness, and develop plans for addressing these issues. This platform will make it easier for GUMA, the local government, and external organizations, such as NGOs, to more effectively engage with the community about these issues. Another important aspect of the WASH platform would be the transfer of knowledge and skills. In order to enhance the capacities already within the community, the emphasis should be on connecting those with the technical experience for building and maintaining water points to the community. Residents can share their knowledge about specific water points functioning in order to advise those with technical knowledge where to focus their efforts. Meanwhile, the sharing of knowledge can raise awareness for safer WASH practices and build capacities for the skills required to maintain WASH points sustainably. There are two aspects of our funding pillar: participatory budgeting and collective funding. Participatory budgeting is a mechanism that allocates municipal resources that transfers decision-making power from the City Council to the public. It is a process that has proven to be very successful in developing cities such as Porto Alegre, and we believe that there is huge potential for Freetown to engage in participatory budgeting. Mayor Yvonne Aki Sawyer's campaign commitment for We Community, for We Progress, for We Freetown is a commitment to transform Freetown in a way that involves all Freetonians. However, there is still a lot of progress to be made for improving efficiency and quality of public service delivery. Participatory budgeting could take this commitment further by sharing a larger part of resources towards the most disadvantaged settlements and by allowing these residents to engage in the selection of projects they find most fitting. Participatory budgeting can be carried out in a variety of ways. One example of how an annual participatory budgeting cycle could be executed is as follows. Regional meetings will involve the discussion and analysis of financial information among WASH platform representatives and local officials, while the neighborhood-level meetings are for the community to discuss and establish their top priorities. Once the projects are chosen, the WASH platform will be responsible for monitoring the design and implementation of such projects. The implementation and planning phases of projects are key in establishing a knowledge and skills exchange between locals and professionals set forth in the first pillar of the strategy. As these skills and knowledges are developed among locals, this can build capacity among community members to sustain future projects. The second aspect of the funding pillar is collective funding. In our research, we learned that the cost of water is doubled during the dry season. Because of this, we propose that the cost difference during the dry and rainy season could be leveraged and collectively pooled by WASH platform representatives. The allocation of funds will then be discussed at neighborhood-level meetings, while decisions of how the savings are spent will be approved by the WASH platform. Building on our strategy, infrastructure enhancement is crucial for the community to be able to maintain clean and safe water provision. Maintenance of water points can be achieved by routinely chlorinating water tanks and wells. Additionally, maintaining cleanliness surrounding water points will reduce contamination and decrease waterborne illnesses, especially during the rainy season. In general, the Guma Valley Water Company has a responsibility for fixing pipe leakages and expanding the network. However, there has been limited response and engagement from them for making improvements. More collaboration between Guma and the community through the WASH platform could improve the effectiveness of existing initiatives. In addition, a record-keeping system would be useful to track the cleanliness of water points. Such a system would allow seasonal and locational water availability trends to be monitored. This, combined with participatory mapping, would allow the WASH platform to make an informed selection for the future location of water projects. In terms of infrastructure upgrading, the construction of drainage canals will be helpful in reducing flood-related risks, such as water contamination exacerbated by uncontained waste. Digging deeper boreholes improves water pressure, and as a result will enable a wider distribution network. As we saw in the market area of Portee, the solar borehole has proven to be a successful project for expanding water provision. Improvements to the road network can have large-scale benefits for the community by making water tanks and pit latrines more accessible. The WASH platform has an important role to play in the implementation of future projects. In recognizing the roles that NGOs have in these communities, the WASH platform can facilitate the implementation of future projects, which ensures a collaborative infrastructure enhancement process. Meanwhile, the WASH platform can work in consultation with professionals in implementing initiatives funded through participatory budgeting. On the other hand, small-scale initiatives directed at WASH maintenance can be accomplished through collective funding. Through better mobilization of existing social networks, funding, and infrastructure enhancement, we believe the community has the ability to improve water security and sanitation conditions. Despite their daily struggles, we witness the dedication and commitment for change within the community. By maximizing the capacities and potential of every community, change within Freetown is possible. We transform Freetown together.